Okay, it says I'm live, and I'm only 2 minutes early. So I'm going to spend a few seconds making sure the stream is right. You can tell what the delay was. And mute that because I don't need to hear me. And a quick test to make sure that the stream in the thing is working properly. Because we all know nothing ever fucks up around here. Yeah, that's not a good sign. Let me see. Okay, we're good. I could swear I saw Bernie was out there. Yep, nope, I'm mistaken. Okay, I'm over it. And let's get that a little bit better. There we go. How's that? Yes, I did see Bernie out there. I'm not crazy. Well, I am, but that's not the point. Luke, I saw you out there. I totally understood. Most people are at work right now. I know Cheese is. You only have one ear as my meeting is. Cheese, I know your situation. I really understand if you mute me at least until you're ready to come in. And for what it's worth, Luke, Bernie, a couple other people that, well, I don't want to get into that just yet. But anyway, they're at work right now. Okay. 90% of the people are going to see this as rerun because they can't see it right now. I see Cheese must be a female because she can multitask. I don't care if that's a sexist statement, people. It's the truth. Hi, Boa. Actually, were you here earlier? No, that was Cheese I'm thinking of. My bad. Okay. We are time, but I'm going to wait a couple extra seconds so I can pop out my list, make sure I'm not going to forget anything. Okay, we're good. All right. Fuck. This is the 9th of June, 2022. This week has not been the absolute and complete utter bullshit that I was expecting. It was not a great week. But this was not the worst week. Not even the top 10 of worst weeks. Not even top 10% of worst weeks for my purposes. So, yeah, take the wins I can get. Yeah. Let's start with Congress is debating the Murder Protection Act. Carrie, can't you just be normal? No. Right. They're calling it an assault weapons ban. Actually, they're calling it a raft of, I think it's 10 gun control bills. But let's get right to the point here. This is a murder protection act, or acts, rather. What they want to do is to make it so much easier for a psychopath who got a gun to murder as many people as they can, as efficiently as possible. Or as some Brit put it to John Browning, if you want to make a lot of money very quickly, find a way for these Euros to kill each other with more facility, with greater facility. Right? The exact quote is somewhat in debate. That's not the point. Felix is in trouble again, huh, Boa? Yeah. Yeah, he gets into a lot more trouble. You know what? As much as shit as I pull, I think Apple's figured me out a little bit. Because, I mean, Jesus Christ, look at my username today, guys. Hi, Buckle. Colorado, really? I was living in Colorado for a while. I got to keep on with my rant first. Every one of these bills, all it's going to do is make it easier for a criminal, especially a psychopath or a terrorist or something of that ilk, somebody whose mind is not working like the rest of society, like the rest of the world, to kill as many people as quickly as possible. That's it. That's the purpose of these bills. And that's the only reason. One of the things that they're going to try is a new assault weapons ban. Okay. I'm going to start with no. That's not an assault weapon. AR-15 is not an assault weapon by any definition. Right? It's only got one of the two requisite characteristics. Now, I know there's people out there screaming, assault is an intent, not a thing. Well, okay, explain assault rifle to me then. Explain to me how the assault rifle is an intent and not a thing. All right, I'm kind of done with those people. These are also the kind of people that call me a FUD because I don't actually oppose NFA. I can see, hey, that was a great concept, but your execution sucked. So it is what it is. All right. Moving right along. Assault weapon, whether it's a machine pistol or what people like to call a light machine gun, which has a curious and strange history of its own, is detachable magazine fed. You notice I said magazine, not clip, not box magazine, but just magazine, period. Ladies and gentlemen, the cylinder on a revolver is a magazine. All right. It holds ammo for immediate use. It's a magazine. It's a very limited magazine. All right. But it is a magazine. Moving right along. And auto or burst fire compatible. Capable. Oh, Jesus. There's a submachine gun. I know Ian from Forgotten Weapons got his hands on one. It was carried by the French in the 1950s and 60s. 45 caliber submachine gun. God damn it, I can't remember the... Oh, MAT 49. MAT 49er. The gun is a open bolt, blowback operated, automatic only. It does not even have a proper safety on it. The safety is you lock the bolt open and then flip the mag up so it's parallel with the barrel. What happens then? You drop the gun. You accidentally touch the trigger. You deliberately touch the trigger. You do anything that causes that bolt to slam shut, which would cause the gun to fire, and it won't fire. It can't. That's the only safety on that gun, and that would be an assault weapon. The Shosho, which is generally known as, quote, the worst machine gun ever, even though that's actually not close to true, but moving on right along, is an assault weapon. The AVS 36 is an assault weapon. The M16 is an assault weapon. The Uzi, the Israeli Uzi 9mm, is an assault weapon. They all have those two things in common: detachable magazine fed and automatic capability. The M16, some versions are automatic, some versions are burst fire, and there are some versions that are both. I know because I shot one. Brent's business before he passed away and after his public service days were over, he was testing guns for different manufacturers. And Ozzy, I'm going to pick on you for a second because you're the first name I saw. Ozymandias Gun Company or engineering group, maybe, designs this new trigger pack for the M16 series. They need to know if this thing will actually work. They send one of these kits to Brent. He would install it on the M16. This is the best way of making sure that this actually does work. And then he would go out to the barn and test the shit out of it. And he would test them to breaking. He would just keep running bullets through and bullets through and bullets through until the gun failed. In the example of this, he actually used a God damn it. Well, the belt-fed upper receiver for an AR-15 because he just wanted to keep bullets going through for as long as possible. The one I fired, we went through about 1,000 rounds before the gun failed, but it failed not because the trigger was bad. It failed because we'd run 1,000 rounds through a gun, and that's not. It took us like 2 minutes to clean it out, enough to have everything working again. It was awesome. That was a good one. What are they trying to do? Well, they're trying to expand the definition of assault weapon to things that it just simply does not compute. And this is one of the problems about the legal definition of fill in the blank. If you're basing it on feelings, you can make it anything you want. I sardonically quipped to somebody on Discord, I can define assault weapon to include a ham sandwich. Hey, did it not kill Mama Cass? Mama and Papa fame, guys? Actually, it didn't. What killed her was a heart attack, but the feeling was that the ham sandwich killed her. So, now what? And as Ozzy somewhat sardonically put it, ban the assault butter knives. Yeah, I could write a definition for assault weapon that includes butter knives. About 5-ish years ago. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure when. I wrote a definition for assault weapon that was so vague and open that it would include muzzle load muskets. Now, I started that project with the intention of getting there, and I got there. And it took me about 2 hours to put all these little pieces together to figure out how to make this law work that way. And I got there. Or you can write it around the technical and mechanical capabilities. A automobile covers this huge range of things from 18-wheelers to powered unicycles. But a car is a very distinct thing. And within the car family are distinct things. There's coupes, there's sedans, there's station wagons, there's whatever. Why can't I do the same thing? I did it. I proved I could. I was able to prove that I could define automobile as everything from an 18-wheeler to a powered unicycle. Okay. I got to catch up on the chat because it is, wow, you guys are active today. What happened? Did you guys eat your Cheerios? Okay. Oh, Cheerios. Greetings from Attorney Boa. Attorney General says we don't have absolute right to own private property. Commies showing true colors. Don't let them do it to you. That's part of the slippery slope, and I don't want to quite get onto the overlook for that yet, but there's Boa's not lying. All right. Unfortunately, there's a truth to that. Bernie says, I'm trying to find evidence of a person claiming that DHS has the right to search your home without a warrant if you live within 100 miles of border. This is literally the first I've heard of this. And Bernie, if you find that, send it to me. You want to see a rant? You want to see me drop F-bombs? Oh, I'll drop a whole lot worse than the F-bombs. Boa, wondering if we should use some new tech for lovely group chat. I want to chat via voice, not text. Okay, Boa, that would be Discord for me. Are you not aware of my Discord? I'll send you a link, even if you say yes. Buckle says she's usually missing my lives because she has a life and a job. I can only do this on Thursday mornings because when I started, we were in the middle of the pandemic. Everybody was locked down. When I got this new job, I said, I need Thursdays off. So now I have Thursdays off and I work Saturday and Sunday to make up for it. And I agree with Cheese Bear. I really hope that DHS thing is just a rumor because that's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, Harry Kissinger can kiss my injure. Oh, yes. Buckle Bunny is talking about what she's had some stress in her life, and some of it's recent. Yeah, that mucker is still alive, Cheese. The last I heard he was. Richard McNamara died several years ago, but not a day too soon, and Papa Carey still has not forgiven him, primarily for the so-called McNamara boys, which is something I will leave Papa Carey to discuss. Hopefully he's doing what I asked. He's making a series of videos about his time in Vietnam and in the prison system, and most of those will go public after he passes away. Because I know he's going to talk about some things he did in Vietnam that he's not happy about, and I will never put that video public. That's not going to happen. Aussie has one of the Aussie channels has a wrench, and I'm trusting you to use it just for links, bud. But I'm pretty sure I can trust you. By the way, over on Exiled's channel, one of my one of my accounts has a wrench and the other does not. She knows, and she's leaving BMC without a wrench for a reason that she knows and I don't. Jesus Christ, this is how far behind I am, guys. And this was with me trying to skip over. Bernie asked, when did assault become a noun? Exactly. Salt is salt because salt kills so many people. That's not how it works, bud. Ozzy is dropping a bomb on California that they actually deserve. All right, Ozzy's talking. I'll already do random traffic stop checks near the border. He's talking about Border Patrol, and I've been through that checkpoint. I want to say it was in the El Paso area, I think it was El Paso. And all I did, I stopped. The guy looked at me, said, "Are you an American citizen?" "Yes." "Is there anybody in the vehicle with you?" Because I was in an RV. I said, "Yes." He said, "Is he an American citizen?" I said, "Yes, she is an American citizen." "Thank you very much." He never even looked at my ID. He never even tried to look at my ID. I could have lied to him. It's actually pathetic. Okay, well, I will make a point of that. And he's dropped his. We'll exchange discords in the email. Hi, troll. And don't feel bad. 90% of the people who are here now are just listening. uh uh okay, I'm caught up. I'm sorry, guys. I did have to catch up. I realized how far back I was. In StreamYard, I can see the chat along with on YouTube as the pop out. And I realized that one that was all the way at the bottom when I started the rant had rolled into where I couldn't see it on StreamYard. I said, I got to catch up. That's a long way to go. All right. The only reason for these new laws is to make it easier for a psychopath to kill people or a terrorist or whatever. That's the point. All right. And part of me has known this since at least 1994 when that assault weapons ban went through. All right. I remember being a junior in high school. I'm in the quad area, which is between the campus offices and the first passageway of classrooms at Shasta High School. There's a bench there that we would hang out at lunch. And thinking about it and saying to myself, well, we're going to find out what happens. Well, 5 years later, right in the middle of this 10-year window, we found out. Now, back then I was stupid, right? I did not know things that I now know, like how easy, really easy it is to make a barrel at home with a drill press and a lathe. And a rifled barrel at that. And I was humiliated for a couple days. When Brent did that little demonstration for me, it took me about 2 weeks to speak to him again. And ever since then, it has always been, you know what? You embarrassed me and you were right, and I needed it. And I finally picked up on that hint. Ozzy, I will check it out. Wasn't going to. Okay, geez, it's not a requirement. I promise. And Bernie is sending me a link. I guess that means he found what he was looking for. I want to see it. I do. I'm not okay with this. All right, let's move along. Anything that the state can do without a warrant can be expanded into everything without a warrant, and that's very, very disturbing. Nothing is going to stop a criminal from getting a gun, period. At the end of the day, the same criminals that are doing these kinds of shootings, same mentality, if nothing else, is going to be somebody out there that says, hey, I can make a lot of money off of that. And they're going The best part is they're going to try to do it legally at least. And when they realize it can't be done legally, they will continue on anyway. There you go. One way or the other, they're going to get what they want. And the most technically sophisticated component of any given firearm will always be the firing chamber and barrel, right? The barrel when it's both combined, like a semi-automatic always is. And if you can't prevent people from making those at home with a drill press and a lathe, then how the fuck are you going to stop them from doing these sorts of things? I priced it out. $150 out the door with bare minimums needed, to make a 9mm barrel like the one I had. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, it was slightly more than that because the M9 had that little flippy bit that's better known as the the lock. God damn it. Anyway, it's the lock that holds the gun shut while the gun is firing. My current gun, my Glock 22, $150 out the door. I have every tool needed to manufacture those at home. Now what are you going to do? Please do tell me, DNC. But then again, everybody in this chat knows what I really think of the DNC. And for those of you who are late to this game, I believe the DNC is owned lock, stock, and barrel by the Iranian government, and they're just traders who sold out about 30 years ago. There you go. Weirdo conspiracy theory time. Ozzy, if you would be so kind as to warn the lady from Seattle about why it is I am so hyper sensitive to conspiracy theories on her channel. You know, these guys want to run their mouths about weirdo conspiracy theories in front of the guy who's 100 times worse than they'll ever be. And people wonder why I'm so protective of her channel. I'm surprised I'm still on right now. Did somebody give me an F or something in the chat so I'll know I am still on? Oh. All right, Ozzy. Now here, I choose not to own a gun. Okay. But the point we agree on is your right to choose. Never want to be forced to use one. Well, I would never want you to be forced to use a gun. I would never want you to be forced to use pepper spray. I would never want you to be forced to punch somebody in the face. But I don't have that choice. And no, the Saudis don't own either party. I don't get to make that choice. I'm not God. All right. I can't say, no, there will be no more violence. No, there will be no more crime. Thank you, Ozzy. No, there will not be any more of these sorts of things. I'm not God. I can't stop it from happening. Or as Douglas Adams said, the first thing he did was give them free will. And everybody agreed that was a bad idea. Something to that effect. Oh, by the way, hi, Apple. See, I'm on my good behavior today. Haven't even dropped an F-bomb yet. Love you, Susan. All right. Oh, good. I'm into the next subject. The corrupt Iranian collaborators in Congress. Weird out conspiracy theory time. Yeah, I got plenty of time to do this. I earnestly and honestly believe that sometime during the Clinton administration, or maybe just before, the DNC basically sold out to Iran. Whether the trafficking in sex slaves, which is a proven fact, don't give me any shit, came before or after is totally irrelevant. 1980s Iran, they're in deep financial trouble. They cannot get any kind of money. It's so easy to sell slaves in that world. It was a common thing. It was a known common thing. I, fat, dumb, and happy, assumed that making eunuchs out of slaves at that point was just out of vogue. You don't do that anymore. That's uncouth. Well, I might have been wrong. I do know that raping slaves was very much the norm, male and female. Yeah, that's a real. One of the better recruiting regions is Asia because people there are dirt poverty and easily controlled. Another really good recruiting region is the so-called Western worlds and the European countries, because you get somebody hooked on drugs, you can keep them there forever. Yeah, it's drug trade, right alongside the sex slave trade, primarily. Somebody's a meth addict, you promise him meth in exchange for he does what you say, he'll do it. It's such a common thing that the FBI has a task force that does nothing but look for indicators that says this missing person may have been sold into the slave trade. My understanding is it's one guy sitting in an office in the basement, 2 doors down from Fox Mulder, because they don't think it's important, but it's there. Somewhere in this time frame, the Iranian government just started giving money to anybody that would help them out. Now, I've said so many times that the Iranian government is a satanic church. I'm shocked my channel hasn't been nuked for it. I stand by that. And when you take the devil's money, you take his baggage too. As they started taking money from George Soros, would take the money first. DNC got access to the DNC because they met George Soros, who introduced them to the then chairman of the DNC. And that's how they got that door open. That's how they picked that door open. The current progressive wing of the DNC is absolutely not only in their pocket, but knows they're in their pocket and they don't care, because their values are aligning perfectly. The same people that want you disarmed are the same people that are in Iran's pocket. Wow. How mysterious. Sorry, no, China is actually owned by Iran, although it's kind of a softer, like in the US, the DNC is 90% owned. China is like 2% owned between both parties combined. Ozzy, Yes, actually, he said something to that effect. He may have been an atheist. I don't know. I don't care. He was also very sardonic, and this was in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, somewhere around the first chapter or so. And yeah, he was making fun of God. Um, give up messing with Chat Susan. Uh, well, no, she won't. Is beyond tender years, yet not cynical beyond them. Oh yes, and I believe she has a wrench here. So fuck this. The lady from Seattle, the lady from PNW, that's Exiled Lioness. And yeah, Ozzy, could you drop her link in the chat? Um, Alpine, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. No, it is not a chat glitch. Uh, well, yeah, Ozzy, I know those other ones are so much better, but I don't, I can't do anything about YouTube. Be perfectly blunt. I hope Elon buys out YouTube specifically, not all of Alphabet, not all of Google, just YouTube, and fires these people, starting with Susan. Apple, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You've let me get away with saying faggots on my channel so many times. You can stay. Because, yeah, I mean, we all know I'm a faggot, so what difference does it make? But don't ever lie to me again. All right. Oh, damn. I do have the quote wrong. It was not about free will. It was just about the creation of the universe in general. I stand corrected. You know what? Not only do I stand corrected, but I am going to go ahead and in the beginning, the universe was created. This has made a lot of people very unhappy and has been regarded as a bad move. I mistakenly believed it was about free will and not the universe creation in general. My bad, guys. All right. So, thank you, Ozzy. I don't even have to be able to read it clearly to know what that says. We have to stop this plot, right? 9017 is coming, and for the sake of those of you who are late to the party, 9017 is my absolute unstoppable belief that a terrorist attack is coming, and it's going to be teams of two in state capitals and major state cities, right? Salem and Portland for California, Olympia and Seattle for Washington, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Sacramento for California. You can figure it out from there. And they're going to go probably from bar to bar. Just shoot the place up. And if they kill 50 people, great. If they kill one person, great. If they only injure 12, oh well. What they're aiming for is a 10 for 1 kill rate for every one of the terrorists who will eventually be killed one way or another if they have to get hit by a fucking fire engine. That's what the cops will do. But if they end this national average, so here in the United States, we got 50 states. Let's just cut it down to the 20 most critical. 2 teams of 2 in 20 states. 4 times 20 is 80. So they're aiming for about 800 dead across the entirety of the United States. That's easy. With that many people in that many places, that far apart, 1,000 is a bare minimum expectation. And the Congress is doing this to facilitate and make sure that this project, this plot, this conspiracy can go forward with as little opposition as possible. Yes, members of Congress, I'm accusing you of murder in the first degree and of suborning terrorism in the first degree. Even resignation is not good enough at this point. House just passed a ban on assault weapons. Oh dear. Every single person that voted in favor of that bill should be tried for terrorism. Okay. Okay. A babblefish? I didn't catch that one. Doesn't. Okay. Buckle Bunny says she's glad she's not a barfly. She's not wrong. I'm going to get into the 9017 just a little bit. There's no tea leaves here. All right. All I did was I took a look at the things that have worked in the past. Drive-bys with motorcycles. Making entry into the bar with an assault weapon, assuming it's an actual assault weapon. Pulse nightclub proved just how effective this tactic is. The only reason they were able to stop that little bastard is because he made a choice to stand there, to stay there, and wait for the cops to show up. 9 times out of 10, the only way the cops are going to find the suspect at the scene is if they're stupid and decide to stay. Excuse me. The time I got arrested, it took the cops 30 minutes to show up to a reported rape in progress. Oh. Are you insane? I remember me and my girlfriend, the supposed victim of the rape, are sitting there. We had just lit our third. I had just lit my third cigarette, and this is like the 5th or 6th car to go by, and I look at it. Is that them? No, that's just an overhead rack. I was about to dismiss the cop when I realized, oh, that's not an overhead rack. Those are lights. Okay, hi, we're right here. He was about to drive right by us. Okay, Ozzy, I get it. Man says, oh, it was easy, and goes on to prove it's okay. I have no idea what that's about, and I'm pretty sure I don't even want to know. Moving right along. All I did was I took the things that had worked, motorcycle drive-bys, mostly in Israel. Okay, so motorcycle's not such a hot idea because people are going to think 2 guys on a motorcycle and one of them's acting weird might be a bad thing. Slam the door shut. If the bartender, or excuse me, the bouncer is sufficiently dedicated, he's just going to slam the door shut, and that'll make the situation much more difficult, which might give people a chance to escape, if nothing else. Or to start throwing beer bottles at the door as soon as it gets shot full of holes. Or a million other things that'll make the shooter's life just that little bit less fun and easy. And we'll scare them and bother them and make their lives very, very difficult. Thank you, Saint Newsbucker. Oh, she just went up to a saint in my mind. How cute. But yeah, it's going to make their lives a little bit more difficult. Do the same thing in a station wagon, and by the time anybody realizes there's a problem, it's too late. And he might have just walked right past the bouncer as if nothing happened. And the bouncer's, hey, oh shit, it's too late now. That is a real world scenario. The closest thing to a defense any of us will have is if, I'm going to pick on Sacramento because I used to live there. A couple of bars down in Old Sac get hit, and Sac PD sends out a wide-ranging notice saying all bars lock down and evacuate. And that will still take 20 minutes. By that time, these guys are long gone from Old Sac and halfway to Rainbow Heights. And I've been in that bar. Actually, that bar is a lot safer because there is a nice, huge escape route. All right. There's technically one huge escape route and one tiny escape route that you'd have to bust some glass out to get through that would slow them down. But that's about it. And there is nobody in there with a gun. No. That would be completely off topic. Love you, Susan. The DNC wants this to happen. And they're doing everything they can to make sure it does. And that is why we have to stop it by every means necessary. Short of using violence, because that would only prove their point. All right. I know I belabor this subject a lot. It is actually important, and I hope people are getting it. Nothing is going to stop them from acting, except knowing that they're going to die in turn. All right. This next part hopefully will be pretty quick, actually. I don't get visitors here. I don't get guests. Nobody wants to come on with me because they think I'm insane. And they're right. I am. I'm not. I'm perfectly competent to stand trial, but I'm a little bit crazy, guys. You know that. No need to blow smoke up my ass. They're scared of me. And they're not wrong. So the rare occasion when I do get a guest, and I'm emphasizing this week, guys, for a reason. I expect them to be treated with every possible courtesy and respect. All right? None of the F-bombs, none of the fuck yous. I expect you to treat them with every possible courtesy and respect. I wish you guys could call me a faggot in the chat. I love it. You can't. I get it. You can call me everything else. I don't care. There's only 2 words that are banned on my channel. And you'll know when you try. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know I'm speaking the truth, but sometimes the truth is very, very harsh and hard and cruel. And I'm okay with that. And yes, I know you're still here, Bunny. Moving right along. If I have a guest, I expect them to be treated with every possible courtesy. Okay. Next week, assuming everything goes as planned right now, I will have a guest. And this is somebody I've really wanted to talk to for like a year now. All right. I do have the military background. All right. I have fired an M16. I've fired an M203. I've fired an M2. I have the bolt action machine gun story. Fuck me. All right. I've been underway and gotten seasick and thrown up literally on the entire side of a 180-foot buoy tender. Not everybody has that experience, and some of those people have more experience with guns than I do. Next week, I'm going to be having somebody like that. I actually, with a few exceptions, would probably defer to their knowledge about guns, especially specific guns, because I focus on just the handgun and rifle that are most practical in a crisis, large-scale crisis like 9017. These guys, they go out and they try new guns all the damn time. That's actually what they literally do. That's their business. This is a big, big deal for me, guys. And I do expect them to be treated very, very well. Mods, I'm having to turn to you and say, keep a close eye on the chat, because I really need these people, this guy especially, to be treated with the absolute kid gloves. Yeah. I'm gonna actually give this a little bit of emphasis because I have something to say. A lot of people are very narrow-minded and cannot wrap their minds around the reality. Ladies and gentlemen, that was me until 2005. Even in my own mind, I thought we can make this thing work, until somebody literally ripped my head out of my ass with a crowbar by shoving it in there and forcing it out. That's what Brent had to finally do to get it through my head. And I'm okay with that. It hurt. I was butthurt for a couple weeks. I had to learn to live with it. And you know what? It got me where I am now. Okay. I hope I've beaten up on this enough, because I actually do have to stop this chat a little bit on the early side today. I got to go back to the lake house, which is like a 5-hour drive from here. Papa Carrie needs help, and I got to go. I actually had to beg off going, and he had to change his schedule so that I could do this, because there's no real internet connection from the lake house. Yeah, I would need a lot more mods. And those big channels like PewDiePie, there's not enough mods for him. Okay, guys, I'm going to have to change the chat settings. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to have to stop the screen, because I got something big to show you this time. Get home bag. I've been promising and promising and promising for almost a year now that I would demonstrate swim goggles. You know, these are obviously not a perfect solution. This was a $12 pack, by the way. These are obviously not a perfect solution, but they're good enough that Antifa actually goes out and buys these by the case when they're getting ready for an action day. So let's give it a shot. see, I'm actually opening it for you. Unboxing. Hey, all right. Okay, this is not something problem I was not expecting. Apparently they tape it shut. And I can't find the end. So there we go. Oh. That's not tape, that's heat shrink. Well, maybe it is tape, my bad. Either way, I don't care. I'm trying to do this without taking the headset out. And this is a very strange setup. Apparently, it's 2 stringy things. But in short, there we go. This is a watertight fitting, which makes it generally airtight as well. That's why. Do I have these on right? No, I did not. See, that's one of the reasons you test. Test everything. All right, there we go. I'll explain why it was fitting wrong. Damn it. Watertight fitting is generally airtight. That's why Antifa uses these when they're getting ready for an action day, so that tear gas won't affect them. There's a few simple ways to test them. One of them would be to stick your face in a bucket of water, and if you can still see when you come up, probably have them on right. Hey, that works. Now there is one little problem with these clear lenses. The dark lenses help, and that's that this lens area can collect light, which will make the observed light on your eyes that much more. And if you're in a really bright environment, it's going to hurt your eyes. If you can power through that, if you can get through that pain, you're in great shape. It only has to protect for a few seconds, doesn't it? Then the tear gas falls, you know where it is, and you can move away from it. They do it all the time. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite case studies of how Antifa really works was a May Day riot in Olympia, Washington. I don't know how this started, but I do know, for those of you that's seen the video, I met the kid with the dog back when I was homeless, and words led to more words, which led to the kid picking up some trash and throwing it at the Antifa, which led to rock throwing, which is when the cops came charging in, hitting them with pepper gas canisters. Antifa went running. They all made it out of there. As far as I can tell, they all made it out. This is part of what their kit was to be ready for this day, because they were looking for a fight with Trump supporters or whatever the fuck they were looking to fight with. This is also something more along the lines of if you're anticipating a problem. All right. All right, so I definitely would have to adjust these straps because those suck. I didn't realize I was getting so much sun until just now. All right, I'm going to bring the chat back up. Share screen. Window. Make sure it's all caught up. Okay. Oh, there was something else I wanted to share, but okay. We're back in business. That's something more if you plan on a problem, right? But if you are expecting a problem, it's probably time to go check into a hotel room, a couple of, 45 minutes away. Hi, Squatch. I knew you were going to be here eventually. My guess is you were probably listening in. If you have decided that you are going to join the situation, one way or the other, if you have decided that you are going to join the situation without having the kind of technical support that some people might have, like a proper gas mask, um, goggles will keep your eyes open long enough for you to keep fighting. That's your biggest point where you break down. You lose your eyes, you're done. Even if it's a temporary loss because you got pepper sprayed or gassed or something else, you're done. And that's it. You can't do anything else. Um, you can breathe the gas in, and yeah, it sucks. It really sucks, right? But it's when it hits your eyes. Ooh, God damn, fuck you, um, Chief. The guy that ran my gas chamber was a chief, and he enjoyed watching us suffer. They all do, because from the outside looking in, yeah, it is funny. All right, Angry Cops was not lying when he said gas chamber day is always fun. Now, I actually do have a gas mask. All right. I don't have a current filter for it. I have an expired filter. It would be good for about 20 minutes, and then I can get another filter. Sorry, that's just kind of the way it is. I don't recommend you race out and buy a $200 gas mask just because. It's not a good plan at all. But having a pair of goggles will either keep you in that fight for an extra 15 minutes or at least let you get out. Now, if your entire purpose is to get out, those folding motorcycle glasses are more than good enough. Motorcycle goggles are more than good enough. Go with that. If your purpose is to get back in, you're going to need something more than the motorcycle goggles. All right. Something else I got to share, and it is related to what I just was covering. Nope. I'm sorry. This is about the DNC selling out. Let me make sure it's available and ready. That's better. Literally, I saw this about 10 minutes before I went live. All right. Joe Biden pressed by Jimmy Kimmel on gun control. Why can't you issue an executive order? Literally, the next news pop-up thingy. Russia attacks on Kharkiv shatter recent calm, pose dilemma for Ukraine. Guys, listen to yourselves. You're literally talking about a war as you talk about why Joe Biden can't issue an executive order. Do you hear yourselves? Do you catch what you're stepping in? Obviously they don't, or I wouldn't be able to read this on the air. And if you think that can never happen here, You're living in a bigger fantasy world than I did back in the 90s. All right. Oops. Let's try that again. First of all, let's make sure that that's ready to roll, because that will be very soon. Get the chat back up for a second. Mostly so I can see it. Why do some people spit on their goggles? I don't know. I've never even heard of that one. Proper body armor might be suggested. Police in Ottawa shot a gas canister at zero range into a lady reporter's knee. Same time others struck her with wooden batons. Live on the air at the time, mind you. Okay, Ozzy, I don't know the full story here, although I think I know of the reporter being hit by the gas canister. I think I know what you're referring to as Rebel News. I do not like Rebel News. Just going to say it. I've caught them lying. There. I said that too. However, that thing with the canister happened. Proper body armor would not have protected her knees. I'm sorry, that's reality. That's a weak spot in any era of body armor you can name. It was just one of those 1 in a million shots. Snowmobile goggles should be effective. No, they generally protect against the wind and the water particles headed at your face. Now, it's obviously better than nothing, a lot better than nothing, but as the liquid loads hit the rest of your body, it can seep in behind, and it will not stop gases. Second Amendment and its unenforced too many guns plus courts will squash it. I think I will be able to chat, comment on other videos. Bot's been blocking me. I'm sorry, Ozzy. There's nothing I can do about that. Unless you said the S word or the B word, it's nothing I can do. All right. I'm going to get into stop that screen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to share a different screen because today's subject has applications far, far beyond just this little family. Let's make sure it's up. Excellent. I actually reached out to a couple of gun-related industry groups. I'll just toss the one under the bus. Sons of Liberty Gunworks. All right, I reached out to them this morning and said, you might want to see this. Section 7, Limitations and Provisions of Liability. Any person acting in accordance with the provisions of this act and in good faith may not be held criminally liable for any reasonable and prudent acts thereof in the use of any weapon in self-defense or defense of others, nor may be held liable for unintended, unforeseeable, or unavoidable consequences of another party's actions. Okay. What this means, if you were acting reasonably in your own self-defense or the defense of others, and something else went wrong as a result, you're fine, right? It happens all the time that one guy shoots another, bullet goes right on through the body and out the other side. 9 times out of 10, it just goes out, and that's it. It hits a stone wall, it hits a fire hydrant, crashes into a car, whatever. All right? These things just happen. It's not because you were acting irresponsibly. Reasonable and prudent acts thereof, you're fine. Now, that also means you can't spray and pray just to get one guy. just because he's got a gun. That's not how it works. Right? So this goes back to a previous section on restrictions. No person acting otherwise in accordance with the provisions of this law and the state within which they are located at a given time may be held civilly liable for actions taken under this act, except when said person acted under circumstances wherein they are successfully criminally prosecuted. Okay, so first of all, that should read, given time may be held, may not be held. Second of all, it doesn't matter how much you may not like their actions, or they may, well, it doesn't matter how much I personally may not like the way you handled the situation. If you are not being criminally prosecuted, there's nothing I can do to you. You're safe. All right? I can't sue you. And taken to the extreme I intended for, well, wherein they are successfully criminally prosecuted is kind of an important detail. Because if you're not successfully criminally prosecuted, still nothing I can do. Doesn't matter how obvious your actions were. Irresponsible. You ran into a guy with a gun and took out a fire hydrant. Okay. And you taking out that fire hydrant shut down the entire fire main for my neighborhood. And we had a fire that day and my house burned to the ground because you took out the fire main. No. Was your actions appropriate at the time you took them? Yes. You're good to go. And maybe your actions had a lot to do with why the neighborhood burned to the ground. This guy was running around setting fires to houses or something else. I'm just saying. Okay, no person manufacturers of any products listed under or applicable to this act may not be held civilly liable in any matter related to this act, to the exclusion of defective products, defects in materials and or workmanship, and foreseeable design defects. All right. I'm going to go there. Ruger had a big scandal, what was it, 2 years ago, with drop guns. The trigger was engaging on a gun drop. It was quickly redesigned to fix the design defect. It was not a foreseeable design defect, or maybe it wasn't. I'm not fully aware of the circumstances. Either way, they'd probably be King's X. Defects in material and or workmanship. Also, Ruger had a batch of defective hammers. The sears were snapping off. Would they be held civilly liable? Maybe. Defects in foreseeable design defects. I'm talking about Jenner, right? Which is no longer even a company. They had a defective gun. Period. It was a piece of shit that should never have been allowed out on the market. I don't know what they were thinking. Keltec, you might want to review your inventory, your catalog very carefully. Okay. If it's not something that they could have prevented, I don't care. You're good to go. No private person or concern may in any way interfere with the lawful business of another private party except as provided for under this act, under the direct order of a competent jurist in the course of a criminal proceeding. Any company that violates this clause may be fined not less than $10 million per transactional violation, and any private person who does so or authorizes another body to do so shall be found guilty of a felony punishable by 20 years in prison plus an additional 6 months per transactional violation completed. Ladies and gentlemen, there were no typos. I said $10 million. I said 20 years. I said 6 months. I meant it. Transactional violation is not one big purchase. It's every little bit of purchase within. BOA has a gun company. Remember? Ozymandias guns? Whatever the fuck I called them earlier. I tried to order a complete gun plus a upper receiver, spare upper receiver parts kit, lower receiver parts kit, replacement barrel, and 2 mags. Okay, so I go to make this purchase, and my bank refuses to process that purchase because it's a gun company. Whoever is sitting at that computer and said no to this purchase, I think we're up to 8 violations, because remember, each one of the clips is a separate transaction. All right, I put 2 in the cart together, but they're 2 different components. Parts kits, the upper and lower receiver parts kits, if it were up to me, each individual piece of that kit would be considered a separate part. But that's not the way business works. And I got to go with that. I got to accept that is what it is. Those various little pieces would not work together without all of the pieces. Okay. But the 2 clips could work without each other. That makes it 2 separate parts kits, 2 separate transactions. That's 7 violations at 6 months. Okay. 6 months each. That's 36. It's 42 months right there, plus 20 fucking years. Now, if I don't know that the transaction was declined, okay, there's nothing I can do about it. By the way, that's $70 million in fines against my bank for refusing to process the transaction. This is what I call the Chase Bank clause. When Operation Choke Point came down, Chase Bank was the first one to sign on, and they are still signed on. They will not process a gun-related purchase. Huh? Well, okay. Fuck you too, Chase. You'll be paying that $70 million. How about that? No person acting in good faith under this act may be held criminally nor civilly liable for the act of another. Any weapon stolen from a person, their home, or vehicle, having been reported as such to law enforcement in a timely manner after discovery, and subsequently recovered under whatever circumstances said discovery was made, shall have said weapon returned promptly and shall not face any other ramifications thereof. This is a New York inspired. Was it New Jersey? Actually, I think it was New Jersey. In New Jersey, if somebody steals your gun, you go to prison for it. No! Somebody steals your car and there's a gun in it, you go to prison because it was your gun that was stolen. No. Somebody stole your car. They weren't even aiming for the gun. They got to the place, the chop shop, and they're stripping the car, and then they found the gun. Oh, damn it. We got a gun. We didn't pay you to steal a gun, you dumbass. Believe it or not, there are mobsters who were lying at the bottom of a river because, excuse me, wannabe mobsters who were lying at the bottom of a river because they stole a car, and in the car was a gun. That's too much heat. That's not the only reason, but that was one of those things that, hey, you know what? This jackass stole a car with a gun in it, and he stole the wrong kind of car, and fuck this guy. we're done with him. Oh, okay. Well, in the mob, we're done with you means a little bit more than it does, say, in the military. Either way, your car was stolen. That's not on you. Your house was broken into. That's not on you. There's a great video of, I think it was 3 guys. They break into a house knowing there's guns in the house. They can't get into the safe. One of them has a brilliant idea. The gun safe is down in the basement. Hey, I bet you we could figure out how to get down through the deck into the basement to get to the guns. And by goddamn, they did. They were pacing it off. There's video shows them pacing it off to figure out how far across they have to go. Took them 20 minutes. The homeowner was nowhere around. They out of town or whatever. Took them 20 minutes to get in, and they did. Those guys walked off with something like, what was it? $20,000 worth of guns? In New Jersey, the homeowner's going to prison because these jack-off jokes managed to get that far. No, not anymore. Okay. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, Bernie says, didn't SIG have a problem a while back as well? Yes, and I don't remember what it was, but I do remember. Yeah, they had. You know what? I might be confusing. One of those was SIG and the other was Ruger. Don't be afraid to correct me, guys, if that's what. If I'm misremembering. If I'm misremembering what happened. Okay. First and foremost, for those of you in the gun and other arms-related industries, you cannot be held civilly liable for somebody else committing a crime with your product. It's not going to happen. You can only be held liable if your product is defective in some way that you could have prevented. The hammer sear snapping off thing, which would cause a hammer fall, gun discharging despite you not having touched the trigger. Was that a foreseeable manufacturing defect? Maybe, maybe not. You might still be liable. All right, I'm going to leave a court to decide how far foreseeable has to go. You'll notice there's nothing in there that says the court shall err on one side or the other. I do give the courts a lot more latitude in figuring this out while they're in the middle of the case. Good. And we're at an hour and 20 minutes. Like I said, I do have to leave kind of early-ish today. Banks refusing to handle transactions for people they don't like is sadly not new. I believe Ozzy might be referring to certain incident or certain actions up in Canada from late last year. This trucker convoy, what the crimes committed against the people in the trucker convoy. Their money was just straight up taken. My money was in that pot. I put $10 into the trucker convoy, and that money still has not come back to me. GoFundMe. So, do you want to keep lying to me? I'm moving right along. The Chase Bank clause case goes back to when Obama was still the president. I want to say 2014. I want to say it was 2014, maybe 13. Oh, no, it had to have been after that because it was after the divorce started, but not by much. So that is what it is. And yeah, any bank or private party or concern that interferes with the lawful business under the act. And now I'm going to go there a little bit. Let's say we have the Bank of Kerry, and the Bank of Kerry does not like Fords for some reason. Well, I drive a Ford, guys, so that would be a very odd choice for me to make. But let's move on. I decide I will not allow a transaction for a Ford automobile to happen within the Bank of Kerry. I'm sorry, this clause does not cover that. All right? It covers Second Amendment, arms, specifically guns and body armor. Because remember, only guns and body armor are given any kind, and PPE are given any kind of real explanation up in definitions. I'm just saying. All right. Right. And that is the limit of where it is. Will a court someday down the road take this section of this act and say, well, and the original writer, whose own words can be intention can be specifically divined, because there's video of him saying it from 2022, which was 200 years ago, but okay. Well, yeah, we can actually determine that, yes, this clause was only intended for guns, knives, bombs, whatever. But the Bank of Kerry declined a purchase of a Ford because Bank of Kerry doesn't like Fords, and we don't really understand what the difference here is. So, yes, Bank of Kerry, you owe the state of Green, you owe the U.S. federal government $10 million. Your employee is going to prison for 20 years plus 6 months. And the next supervisor in line who approved it is going with them. But the next supervisor after that, who said, what the fuck are you two doing down there? And reversed it, he's going free. Because apparently he knew how to obey the law. Okay. I was not aware Rebel News had even been around that long. Okay. Ozzy says, off topic maybe. No. Oh, yes, it is. Off topic maybe, but the jab providers given blanket immunity against any consequences seen or foreseen or unforeseen, negligent or not. That would normally be outside the scope of what I do here. They don't deserve any immunity at this point. Sylvania. Musylvania? Ozzy? I'm a little confused. I'm not sure what Musylvania is. Sorry. And it is off topic, so that's as far as I'm willing to go. No, they don't deserve immunity, but there's nothing I can do about it now. All right. I got about 15 minutes. So I'm just going to sort of rant a little bit while I do something a little bit novel for a Thursday morning live stream. This is more normal for a Thursday afternoon. There isn't going to be an afternoon live stream today because this is SCA week. 2016. Okay. Rebel, the successor to Sun. So if the timeline here is correct, then it must have been the Sun that was denied the loan. Which, I'm sorry, this would not cover that as it stands right now. Now, if some court 200 years or I can make a few extra minutes, okay, Squatch? I won't stop for coffee as much. Where was I? If a court 20 years from now says, actually, the law was only intended for guns and body armor and stuff like that, but we're saying that Rebel News has a case here, and we're going to suborn this case, and Rebel News Bank pay up. I mean, I'm not going to stop it. Yeah, geez, go ahead and cut us off here. I would never, ever ask you guys to endanger your life or your income to be here. All right? I would rather not see you in the chat and be allowed to wistfully believe that you're actually working, which there's like half of my moderators right now are at work doing their job, the thing that they get paid for, and I don't want to see them. There's two of my moderators that this would apply to their profession, all right? So their professional duties, I would understand. I would be like, okay, you're here today? All right. You're going to put this on your taxes, maybe. I'm not a paleontologist either. I'm a historian. Paleontologists are people that dig up old plants. ATL short. Okay. I'll check it out later. Yeah, I'm gonna try to check that out too. Love you, Susan. Okay. I'm gonna go about 10 more minutes, guys. Boa says he's off due to medical leave and license renewal. I thought you were retired. Medically retired. Squatch and Cheesebear are talking about something that I don't know what it's about, guys. So as you see this in replay, please understand I'm totally confused too. All right. Well, you got about 10 minutes to jump in here. and try and shake me. I'll tell you all the truth. Alpine is the only person who's ever asked a question that I could not answer. And I'm kind of butthurt with myself because I forgot what the question was. Quick recap, though, is I'm going to have a guest next week. I expect you guys to treat them with every possible courtesy. 9017 is coming, and what's going on in Congress right now is an attempt to make it happen or to set the stage to allow it to happen, knowing that it's coming. This is like, this is the gun equivalent of a building inspector saying, no, you don't have to have fire alarms in this office building. No, you don't have to leave this door, this emergency exit unlocked, despite the fact that there is combustibles literally everywhere. And for those of you who might be confused, I'm making a direct reference to the Triangle Shirt Factory fire that killed 80 plus people. I think it was 80 plus people, 80 plus women specifically, because every employee in that building, except for the plant manager and security, were women. All of them. What's going on in Congress is exactly the same thing as the building inspector for that factory saying, no, you don't have to lock or have to leave this door unlocked. You can lock the door during business hours so that people can't sneak out, and just unlock it when a fire happens. Well, when the fire finally happened, they couldn't get the door unlocked. Cheese Bear swears she asked an unanswerable question. Okay. I vaguely recall that maybe happening, but it was unanswerable. Not that I couldn't. It was something that nobody could answer. All right. What is the square root of pi? Nobody could answer that. What is pi? It's the numerical value you multiply by a diameter, a radius squared, I think it was, to get the circumference of a circle. And what is the pi of a 3-inch circle? I don't know. Bernie knows what pi is to the second digit. I used to know it to 5. I used to have it memorized down to 5 digits. And then I realized I didn't care and forgot about it. Ozzy, the answer is no. Squatch is a troll, so he would know how to deal with trolls. And Cheese asks, how necessary do you find union and public industry in the USA today? Someday I will be able to have Papa Carey's videos made public, and he will express what I think about unions. As corrupt as the progressive wing specifically and the DNC in general is, the unions are a million times worse. And they're open and honest about it. So at least the unions have that going for them. They are open and honest about the fact that they are corrupt. Good for you guys. Actually, no, that's not a compliment. it's too late. Squatch, everybody knows. All right. Guess next week, guys. bestest behavior. All right. Imagine that you were standing in front of St. Peter and he sent you to hell for a few seconds so you could see what it was like. And it is worse than your nightmare. And now St. Peter is giving you a chance to make your case to get into heaven, or at least not go back to hell. That kind of behavior. 9017 is coming. I believe it. You're never going to shake me of this. I will be 90 years old and it has never happened. And I will still say, yeah, it's just a matter of time. Well, why hasn't it happened yet? I don't know. I really don't. It is that simple. What Congress is doing right now is to facilitate and make it easier to happen. And so 9017 is coming. Get ready for it. Get your get home bag ready. Corn Pop was not that bad a dude. Just sorry. No, he wasn't. He was not a bad dude. It was a joke. And in the meantime, keep calm and mandatory carry on. And never ever forget, Ozzy lives in Canada. Now let's see if it decides to end this time. Guys, I'm having some trouble ending the stream because of an internet connection problem. So let's try that. Okay, guys, I'm going to have to do this the hard way. Keep calm and mandatory carry on.